right, things that guys can do that make me absolutely swoon as a woman. Things that sometimes a lot of you guys do naturally without even noticing it. And then there are things that I think that you guys don't notice that maybe you could do that would help you out in the dating world. I don't know, but I'm going to give you my 3 tips. We'll start with 3. So the first one is offering to make something easier for you. Like the other day I was carrying a super heavy cooler with a bunch of stuff in it, and I'm like, wow, it would be nice if the person would just be like, hey, do you need help like carrying that cooler? Like, I'll come and get it, I'll carry it for you. Anything like that, offering to do something for us that we're like, wow, what a nice unselfish gesture.
There's some things I don't do.
Yeah, we don't do that anymore, sister. It's your stupid cooler. It's your strong and independent problem. You can thank your legion of simple-minded, hive-mind militant feminists for that one. You see, it's not the gestures the man makes that makes your life easier. It's the types of men who make those gestures. An average man with average upper body strength could easily help you. But one look at a man like that, you're filled with such a resentful disgust that you'll spite yourself and haul that cooler on your own because you assume that man is only wishing to help you because he expects something in return. On the other hand, if the exact same thing happens with a man like Chadnam P.I., then it becomes a romantic, unselfish gesture that lays the foundation for your own romantic story, which ends with you becoming the owner of a mansion in Greece. Men have tried to make your life easier. We've tried being gentlemen and we've tried being helpful. And you made it clear, if that man is not part of the top 5%, then he's either going to get an eye full of pepper spray, a warrant for his arrest, or a lifetime subscription to your friend zone, which is just as bad. So no matter how you slice it, that selfless act doesn't even benefit us in the slightest, but forces us to suffer an insane amount of absurd potential consequences. So, no thanks. We're not helping you out. We're not interested.
Number 2 is whenever they let you walk first in front of them. Like, especially if you're in a public place and they're like, go ahead. And they stay right with you. That just gets me. Especially if they put like the hand on your hip or they like reach to grab your hand while you're walking through somewhere public. That's probably way up here on my list.
Wow. That's amazing.
You know what? Yeah, I would be inclined to agree with this sentiment if this was, I don't know, 50 years ago. Men who showed assertive behavior, confidence, and gentlemanly gestures like that could make a woman swoon. Absolutely, but this is the 21st century, sweet cheeks. And if you're a member of the bottom 95% club, then what you're suggesting is the modern woman's legally interpreted definition of assault. Now, Tyrone Deanna Jones doesn't have this problem. You want him to take your hand, and you want him to lead you by the waist. That kind of stuff makes you mustier than a Louisiana Turkish steam room. I mean, we know this and we accept it. There are your preferences. It is what it is. But there is no chance that an average man is going to risk what you're proposing, because that would mean he has the chance of having to explain to his boss why a massive horde of angry feminists are spamming his office phone and emails by demanding that you get fired for being an inhuman monster who preys upon innocent women. He's got too much to lose to be that bold. The rules of the games were changed at your behest, sister. The men aren't going to risk breaking the rules when the stakes are so out of control that he has to worry about getting an ankle monitor because he reached for your stupid hand.
Number three is whenever they stop and they're on their way to like pick you up, or maybe you're coming over to their house or something, and they ask you if you like anything. Or if they just already know what you like and they get it. Like, for instance, I love twisted teas, and I used to have a boyfriend that would always bring me a twisted tea if it was the weekend and we were going out, because he knew that I was getting ready, curling my hair, and he was like, hey, you want me to pick you up a twisted tea on the way? That was so thoughtful. It's the little things.
To alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
Well, that just sounds sweet, doesn't it? A man who knew you so well that you knew what kind of cheap alcohol you preferred to pregame? And how's that relationship going, by the way? Because it sounds to me like whatever he did, it didn't work out because you talk about him in the past tense, which implies that things either fizzled out or went nowhere, thus proving my point. Men are not supposed to ask you if you want anything from the store. That would just add on to that mental load of yours and send your brain into stroke mode because you had to think about if there was anything you wanted. Men have been told they should just automatically know what needs to be done, what needs to be bought, and when to deliver it all without having to ask you. Anything less falls into the category of weaponized incompetence, mental abuse, or the patriarchy, but that just depends on your astrological sign. We live in an era that no matter what advice a man is given on how to treat a woman, it will always be met with disdain because men can never do anything right or at the right time or in the right way. And even if he does, it doesn't matter. A modern woman will still figure out a way to vilify him. So yeah, no thanks, lady. It's a new game with new rules. So if you're interested in getting swooned, you're gonna have to go swoon yourself a man first, sister. And if you're not willing to do that, then I kindly suggest that you shut your mouth, because we stopped listening decades ago.
There's the door. Why don't you check it out?
I think it's totally okay to date while you're waiting for your divorce to finalize. My divorce took 2 years and 4 days, and if it was up to me, we would have been done in 6 months and 1 day, which is what California, how long they make you wait. The irony is that my ex-husband and I agreed to every single thing that I had typed out on a Word document, presented to him at our kitchen table, like 1 or 2 months into the separation. He agreed to what I had written down. But instead, it cost both of us like tens of thousands of dollars, tons of lawyers, and 2 years, 4 days later, because he wanted to drag things out.
A smelly fish!
And it's not a cod.
You know, there's always certain things you can count on in life, be it the taste of your favorite burgers, the satisfaction of hitting a ball with a stick, or the ability to detect a modern woman's bull hockey within less than 2 sentences. Let's go ahead and break this down for a second. We already know where she's going with this. It's all in her pathetic attempt to omit key details in the sob story. Here is what we know. She is filing for divorce, and she has made her demands clear. According to her, he agreed to those demands without a fight, but then suddenly, for almost no reason, he decided to arbitrarily stretch out the divorce proceedings as much as possible in the attempt to just be petty. Now, we all know that money's involved here, and lots of it. If this is costing him tens of thousands of dollars, but he's still going through it, then we know she's leaving out something important. Using the same logic that's used by most garden gnomes, I think we can safely surmise that she wasn't dating during her divorce proceedings. She was having a full-on affair before the divorce papers were even printed. And once he found out about the extensive party time she was having on the carousel, the less he liked the idea of just freely giving away his hard-earned property to a harlot. On a scale of 1 to 10, how close am I?
And I truly believe that the reason he wanted to drag things out was because he was watching me have too much fun or hearing about all the fun I was having on social media. I wasn't broadcasting dates or anything like that, but you could just tell I was having a good time with my friends on the weekend when I didn't have my kids. And I think the only control that he had was to retaliate by making things go as long as he possibly could. So feel free to date, but I would keep all the fun that you're having to yourself for after your divorce is final.
What's that, shit? It's a shit smell. Is that you? Smells like pom-pom.
Woman, baby, please just stop. You are bad at this. We all know what's going on here. You bought yourself a suite at the Hump Break Hotel and passed yourself around like a peace pipe at a Grateful Dead reunion concert and never passed up an opportunity to brag about it on social media. Your husband, who was probably thinking that his children deserved a better environment than living with a woman who's out there getting randomly plowed by Chad when she doesn't have custody, decided to spend the extra money to try and give himself a fighting chance to have custody of his kids and not give you a whole bunch of money in the process. And sorry, sister, you're not the victim here, no matter how much of the story you conveniently forget. You said it yourself. This was costing him time and money, both of which he was willing to spend because you were using him for his resources when you weren't using other men to play with your decrepit slime cavern of bitter resentment. But I digress. To answer your question, is it okay to pork random dudes while you're still in the divorce process? The answer is, it doesn't matter. It didn't stop you when the ring was on your finger, so why make the distinction now?
Shut your dirty little mouth!
Client asked me this morning, is it possible to have a good relationship, a healthy relationship, after infidelity, after cheating? And unequivocally, my answer is yes. Not only can you have a good relationship, a great relationship, after cheating, I think you can have a better relationship than maybe you ever had prior to the cheating. I do believe that. The caveat is both partners, especially the partner that hurt the other, has to be willing to go the extra mile, has to be willing to be patient, to give the partner what they need to feel emotionally safe, to help rebuild the trust.
Gentlemen, which brings me to my next point. Don't smoke crack.
Let me get this straight, sister. A woman can go out, have an affair, and make her current relationship better just so long as she feels really, really bad about it and is willing to work to re-earn the trust of the man she betrayed? Well, this just begs the question, where in the hell was this willingness to make things work before she decided to completely destroy the relationship by porking another dude? Why should she be willing to make things work now? Allow me to answer this because you're about as responsible as a drunk 13-year-old behind the wheel of a big rig. She's not willing to repair the damage. If that was the case, she never would have betrayed the man in the first place. She has a good thing going with a simp, and she doesn't want to lose the benefits. So she's putting on an act as a last-ditch Hail Mary to keep her regular access to this man's resources instead of doing the dignified thing and leaving the man she betrayed in peace. And putting on an act like that and saying that you want to make things work just because you made a mistake just twists the knife that she already shoved in his gut. There's no rebuilding that trust once it's gone, woman. It doesn't work that way.
That's a lot of elbow grease. That's a lot of work. I'd be lying to you if I told you it was quick and painless. It's not. It's not quick or painless. But it is worth it, man. And the ability to get closer from this hurt. And you can do that. We can make lemonade from these bruised lemons, from the cheating, the infidelity. Yeah, that created division and real significant trauma and hurt. But what if we could use all of that to fuse your relationship, to get even closer, to build deeper connection, and maybe even rebuild your foundation?
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby! Don't you put that on us!
Well, it sounds to me like someone slept through Psych 101. Alright, lady, allow Professor Locke to enlighten you. You see, one of the most sacred things a man has to offer someone is his trust and loyalty. And unlike your expired gunk tank of endless sorrows, it's not something he gives out willingly. And if you cheat on a man, you took the most sacred thing he had to offer you, and not only did you destroy it, you carelessly destroyed it all for some desire for a cheap thrill. It's a story we've heard from men all the time. Once he finds out what you did, he won't be able to get the image of his woman with another man out of his head. That's what betrayal does, and you can't expect him to forget that. Nor can you expect him to be okay with his woman having her cake, eating it in front of him, and making a mess of everything, and then getting a little bit weepy when she makes a feeble attempt to try to clean up the mess she made. Sorry, sister. Once you cheat, it's over. There are some messes you can't clean up, and infidelity ranks fairly high on that list. It's kind of sad that I have to explain that to you, but hey, what are you gonna do?
All the boxes, so you decided, what the hell, let's get married or let's be in a committed relationship. But you didn't have a great structure, a great foundation. Now is a chance to rebuild it using this trauma, this hurt as the vehicle. I think that there's a lot of great relationships out there you'd be surprised that went through infidelity or cheating and now are so far beyond that and they're loving life together.
You! I will think of you as I throw up into the toilet.
You know what? I would love to be the fly on the wall of a couple telling another couple that their relationship was made stronger because the husband was totally fine with being a cock. Let's be serious for a second, shall we, woman? If the foundation of a relationship was so rocky that it can only be made stronger by one party cheating on the other, then there was never a relationship worth having in the first place. When you decide to get into a committed relationship, loyalty technically comes with that package deal. And if you're not even willing to bring loyalty into the equation, then you have no business getting into a relationship in the first place. And your response to cheating is to tell the cheater that they can get away with whatever they want just so long as they work really, really hard at pretending to be really, really sorry for making the conscious decision to throw away the trust that was given to them. Which isn't surprising when you realize that most dating experts get their certifications from the back of a cereal box, but if you ask me, and I know you did, I think her license should be revoked because I have it on good authority that she didn't get her parents' permission to use the scissors before cutting the certificate off of the box. And that is going to do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents. And as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button. Ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, and make sure to share this video so we can give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.